things. According to Goji Center, apparently the Megalodon was in Jurassic World Rebirth and we missed it, which is a crazy claim, bro. I feel like I would have freaking noticed the Megalodon, you know what I mean? Like, is Scarlett Johansson's feet, Megalodons, some things you just see. I don't know. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to Goji Center, and let's go see what the crap these guys are smoking.
As if the ocean wasn't scary enough with the gangs of Spinosaurus and multiple Mosasaurus lurking about, sharp-eyed viewers and careful listeners of the latest outing in the Jurassic saga saw a clear indicator another massive apex predator is back from the dead. On this episode of Goji Center, we dive into the depths to see why this giant shark might have been brought back, who might have done it, and who could have unleashed it into the modern ocean. In the aftermath of a fallen kingdom and establishment of a new dominion, numerous groups broke the barrier to the past and started resurrecting prehistoric species en masse. Biosyn was obviously the frontrunner, but the sheer volume of creatures loose in the world and black markets that we hadn't seen in previous entries in the franchise suggest plenty of different players were at work.
I'm so susceptible to convincing sounding action voices like Goji Center's. I already freaking believe this Megalodons. There hasn't even been evidence provided thus far. I'm convinced now, you got me.
And if Manticorp's now dearly departed Smilodon showed off anything, it's that beasts from long after the reign of dinosaurs were not off the agenda list. And most of the largest oceanic predators to ever live all hail from the age of mammals in the Cenozoic. Which brings us to the time and date of Jurassic World Rebirth. When one of our favorite mercenaries, Duncan, was being recruited,
I did love
we
that
could see quite a lot going on in the background. Not only were some of the most unsurprised fishermen in existence pulling in the decapitated remains of a Dunkleosteus bonefish, but at the same time Dr. Loomis was looking over a conveniently pet-sized baby pteranodon, we could see a very distinctive set of jaws in the background that would no doubt remind a lot of people of, well, the movie Jaws.
That is
and
pretty
while it might
fishy.
initially look like an oversized set of a great white's grill, the thick shape of the teeth, front and back, with a unique curve on the back half with a flat forward face, clearly shows these jaws belong to a lineage of sharks that shouldn't be swimming the oceans or scourging the Brodies anymore. Otodontidae were a
Scourging
whole
the
family
Brodies?
of robust toothed predators that roamed the seas from 65 million years ago until about just 3 million years ago, often being the chief apex
we just
predators
missed
of
them.
the ocean directly after the end of the Cretaceous period. And while several species in this family achieved gigantic sizes, there is one that eclipses all the rest and is easily one of the most iconic oceanic predators of all time. There is little doubt the jaws behind Duncan belonged to none other than Otodus Megalodon. And given this isn't exactly a museum where they're sitting, as well as the look and condition of those jaws, this does not look like a fossil.
I feel so stupid for just assuming that was a fossil too, because obviously Megalodon fossils, like, jaws aren't like they're in museums of rich people houses, like stuff like that. But obviously this fishing village wouldn't have a multi-million-dollar Megalodon like they have like other prehistoric creatures like the tiny pteranodon in the cage. It'd make way more sense that they got this from an actual existing creature and not just like purchased for millions of dollars. Seems super freaking obvious now that like it's zoomed in and I'm being told about it.
In the movie, Duncan's dialogue with Krebs revealed the chilling reality of the state of the modern ocean. While he was introducing the man in charge of team security, Krebs questioned the need for this. Duncan's response? To avoid ending up in one of these, referring to the jaws behind Krebs. Oh, and the follow-up phrase, a live one. That's right, ladies and gents. And this is where the rest of this episode will now take off.
Damn, it's so obvious.
Assuming
Right
this
in my
effort
face.
by the prop department isn't the product of an actual prop department in universe, this means at least one live Megalodon was swimming the seas until very recently.
I guess I assumed because some movies just add stuff for no reason. A lot of the times there's like no background lore or anything. It's just there to be cool. I guess I just assumed.
And unless we're going to joke we're just now finding out there's an off-screen crossover going on and Jason Statham killed that shark, this means somebody had the harebrained idea to bring the mightiest megatooth back from extinction. Who cloned it? Why did they do it? And how did that shark end up in the open ocean? Let's dive a little deeper to speculate on some of those
I feel like I'm about to
answers.
learn so
Until
much.
we find out more, we can't know for sure. So, disclaimer to all viewers, what follows is entirely speculation and extrapolation of what could have happened and why. So, who cloned the Meg? The answer to this question is perhaps one of the most mysterious of all. With InGen and Manticorp out of commission and Biosyn not likely in that kind of business anymore,
creepy little
it could have
bastard.
been any number of companies around the world that decided to put both hands on the idiot ball and recreate Megalodon. The
Both hands on the
universe
idiot ball?
is largely like our own in terms of technology, with a few noticeable exceptions. One of them seems to be the capability of extracting and recreating prehistoric genomes from remains of otherwise completely unusable fossils. Everybody knows about the mosquito blood, but that probably wouldn't work in a lot of cases. Outside of maybe sucking the blood of a dead megalodon that got beached, there really wouldn't be any way for a mosquito to get a blood sample from this ferocious fish. However, there are other ways. After all, we have seen creatures like Dunkleosteus and Dimetrodon brought back, both of which predate most blood-sucking insects by a pretty wide margin. But we know
That's a
other
really good
methods
point.
do exist. Gray mentioned some alternate DNA extraction methods in Jurassic World, and it was implied elsewhere. Getting protein fragments from bone and working to recreate the genome from there, it would be possible to reconstruct the DNA of something otherwise unbitten by a mosquito. So here's how Megalodon DNA might have been extracted in-universe.
Oh, damn.
While the vast majority of Otodus megalodon fossils are their infamous teeth, there do exist fossils of other body parts. As sharks get older or larger, the cartilage in their skeleton can stiffen and harden, thanks to incorporating minerals and salts from the water they swim through. Once in a while, a meg died in a way its skull and spinal cord might be sturdy enough to get fossilized.
Wow, look at that
alongside
spinal
the
cord.
teeth. These fossils would be an order of magnitude younger than some of the other animals brought back in the Jurassic World timeline. So, if somebody can clone the dunk from hundreds of millions of years back with these kinds of methods, recreating a megalodon from just a few million years ago would be child's play. So, if not Biosyn, InGen, or Manticorp, who done it? Truth is, it
Who
might
done
be
it?
impossible to tell. That is, until Universal follows up on Duncan's implied statement that the big shark is swimming around and throws in a company name. Instead of a big venture by a company producing dozens of different types of creature, this might have been a venture by anything from a veteran genetics firm to a new startup trying to make a name for themselves. What better way to attract investors and get people's attention than bringing back something enigmatic and borderline legendary as the Megalodon? Just look at how much investment that fiasco with the fake direwolves got colossal biosciences from the energized Game of Thrones fans.
Man, I feel so stupid. I made a whole video surprised over those freaking direwolves just to find out it's all malarkey.
But as the era of dire farces and fake Tyrannosaurus handbags approaches us in the real world, there is another possible motive beyond another attempt at a theme park attraction to bring back Otodus Megalodon. One that might imply the group responsible for this big shark getting turned loose might be tied to companies like Parker Genix Pharmaceuticals more than any amusement adventure.
See, that's why I'm not like theorizing over who could have possibly done it. It could be any group with like 30 million or more dollars. It could have been a celebrity. It could have been Jake Paul, for God's sakes. Like, there's really no point in even trying to track it down.
So
I don't think
why
Jake Paul could do that, but
clone a
you know what I mean?
Megalodon? Bringing back the greatest shark that ever lived and keeping it captive might have been a venture motivated by a lot of different things. However, those doing it might not have had as benevolent of intentions as Jiuming Zhang in the Meg 2. Beyond showcasing and housing such an awesome super predator, there is one other dark reality to bringing back Megalodon in specific. Sharks have become a commodity. Hundreds of millions of years of existence and enduring one mass extinction after another, and the biggest threat to them of all time comes from how much money some people can make off of them.
Dude, definning is actually so freaking barbaric. They just like cut the fins off sharks and let them like just toss them back to die. Stuff is straight up demonic, bro.
So shark meat, particularly those of large predatory species like tiger sharks, are usually bad tasting and high in mercury. But this doesn't stop it from being sometimes sold as expensive gourmet dishes catered to the ultra-rich, fancying themselves feasting on apex predators.
Ultra-rich
Often with
people eat
1
the
pound of
weirdest
exotic
stuff.
shark steak costing more than most people's monthly food
Children?
budget. Shark fin soup is still a status symbol in numerous countries, despite so many efforts against it. And ever since a bogus medical claim that sharks don't get cancer,
Man, who's eating boiled shark shit? Look at this disgust. My God, bro. Once you get so rich, you're just bored and you try and experience new things. Go freaking take a walk in the park. How do you get to this point point.
So many efforts against it. And ever since a bogus medical claim that sharks don't get cancer, spoiler warning, they absolutely do get it, millions of people have bought into expensive shark cartilage and liver supplements for supposed health benefits and hope of staving off all manner of cancers. Some supplements can end up running hundreds of dollars per pound or even far more. But guess what? Absolutely none of this crap works. But that never stopped some profit ventures. And as Rebirth showed, people will go to the ends of the earth and to the most dangerous places on the planet for the promise of medical miracles. So why not plunder the seas too? It's one of the key reasons why shark harvests around the world spiked in the last few decades, potentially killing more sharks per month from harvests for meat, cartilage, and fins than natural causes did in thousands of years. And the Megalodon would be the literal motherlode. And it comes with the added benefit of using an extinct, genetically engineered creature for the product instead of protected endangered species. As Dodgson expressed in the second novel and Ludlow directly put it in the second movie, an extinct animal brought back to life has no rights. It exists because we made it. We patented it. We own it. Imagine not only the raw market wealth of having multiple tons of raw shark to process, but also being able to gain exclusive rights and marketing hype, putting an apex of apex predators on the menu. A pound of great white could cost hundreds. A pound of megalodon skin, liver oil, meat, and cartilage could cost thousands. Perhaps even tens of thousands if you...
Megalodon skin backpacks? No, that'd be atrocious. I don't own any animal skin backpacks. I'm stupid. Ignore me.
Kept exclusive rights. After all, imagine the hype a product could
I would never
get
want
if it
that. What the
contained
hell?
Real megalodon in the mix over a typical shark species. And we're talking at least 50 tons worth of shark to make use of. Processed right and marketed smartly, one slaughtered megalodon would turn a profit that would make the $26 million price tag for the Indominus Rex look like chump change.
Damn.
And for a species that would require very little research and development to create, no hybrid genome to splice, and already has built-in market appeal by taking everything profitable about sharks and multiplying it.
This is why I was thinking any investor with like 30 million or more dollars could get this done, because I feel like any geneticist in the Jurassic World like universe this far into the process could make a megalodon. It's basically just a giant great white shark. For the most part, it's not some ultra complex thing.
Megalodon, like most mackerel sharks such as great whites, would have been born live without an egg, which would make creation and recreation difficult at first. However, unless Jurassic World was getting its mosasaur meals financed by a psychopath feeding the lizard endangered great whites they caught in the wild, it seems the technique to clone mackerel sharks already exists in the 2010s.
That's such a good point.
Great
Never even
whites
thought about
also
that.
take decades to mature, the know-how to make them grow much faster was probably also used. And with the technology and information let out into the wider world, these techniques could be refitted to clone and recreate the Meg. Otherwise, they might be left waiting even longer for the product. A 2025 study by Dr. Shimada and others indicated Ototus megalodon would take potentially even longer to reach adult size than great whites. From there,
it is a
whatever
little
company
bigger.
responsible for this venture would probably keep it in a saltwater enclosure and would bulk feed their sharks massive amounts of low-quality meat from whatever suppliers they could get, so it could put on the pounds quickly.
How long would it take before they're making genetically enhanced mega super monster cows to feed the megalodon? It's just an infinite cycle, bro.
Techniques and machinery used for butchering whales would likely be modified for when it came time to cull and collect on their investment. So
Damn,
now
bro.
let's entertain the idea that something like this actually took place in the Jurassic universe. How did we wind up with Megs in the ocean? Well, it seems like with so many other foolish ventures in this franchise with prehistoric animals, something went very, very wrong. Who let the Meg out? If a world-class theme park with the benefit of hindsight from Hammond's Park, thousands of staff, an isolated environment, and years of experience could still go haywire in a single day,
I mean, that pisses me off, because literally all that stuff he just mentioned, irrelevant. They opened the door. You could have $1 billion worth of security. It's irrelevant if you open the door.
what chance did others have? And also, what are the chances that an unscrupulous company recreating species
Oh,
to
this
butcher and make
bitch.
money from desperate cancer victims and the ultra 1% be the types to have better security? In this hypothetical scenario, the group responsible for the Meg farm would have probably been cutting corners at every opportunity. They want that return on investment as fast as possible. Keeping just great white sharks in enclosed aquarium spaces is already effectively impossible. The reason you haven't seen Bruce in an aquarium is because great whites are used to roaming hundreds of miles and living living in open water. As summed up by science educator Wild World in their video about the subject, even juvenile great whites find themselves feeling cramped, banging against walls, getting confused by electrical signals. They become stressed, they might not eat properly, and almost all need to be released soon after.
I was just talking about this the other day. Thank God great white sharks die in captivity. They can't be kept in a cage or a tank. They will die. Thank God, too, because they would be in every rich person's basement on the planet.
Sadly, many have died sometimes within days of being enclosed. So, what are the odds an unscrupulous group in it for a profit would spend millions, potentially billions of dollars on a record-sized aquarium the size of Manhattan just to house something they intend to kill for profit? Instead, they would probably try to make an outdoor enclosure set out at sea. This would be a walled-off section of ocean kept as a perimeter to keep the sharks in while saving a fortune on creating their enclosure. This does mean far more room to keep the meg alive and growing, but it also means escape would be substantially easier. All it would take is one weakness in the perimeter, one heavy storm that floods the area, or even just a shark jumping out of the water and vaulting itself over into open ocean, as many species can do. And what's worse, an expensive project like this would never put all their eggs in one basket. Why cultivate and kill one meg at a time if you can maximize profits with a constant stream of them? Keeping multiple smaller sharks together reduces the chances of them attacking one another since they are all equally well armed, and means far more profit when it comes to culling day. It also means that escaping is substantially easier and multiple sharks are probably going to get out. Something much like this in real life even happened in Florida back in the 90s. When Hurricane Andrew slammed into southern Florida, it smashed apart a reptile facility, releasing dozens to hundreds of Burmese pythons into the Everglades. Together with releases from the pet trade, these snakes now number in the thousands and have been scourging the local ecosystem.
That's some serious reptile dysfunction right there.
One way or another, corner cutting and lack of foresight would come back to bite them hard, and might result in a few other things literally getting bitten even harder. So now, what if the Meg was out in the oceans in the Jurassic franchise? The Pliocene epoch was potentially the time of the deadliest ocean that ever existed. In addition to the Megalodon, there were numerous other giant shark species roaming the seas and predatory whales that could eat things the size of most marine reptiles. Megalodon was also part of a completely unique predatory niche. A 2022 study on the species investigating its diet via isotopic analyses showing its diet found it was at times hunting and consuming other large carnivores. So, with multiple fast-growing megs on the loose, it could turn into a slaughter at sea. Inexperienced great white sharks are typically the ones most prone to attacking humans due to not knowing the difference between seals and surfboards. With their metabolism jacked up to grow faster, these megs could have all of those problems multiplied. Even if only a portion of the escapees grew up to be full size, each and every shark could be a huge threat to marine mammals, native sharks, and small boats. The Delgado family would have certainly fared worse had a Megalodon attacked the sailboat, ending this plot prematurely.
Don't even get me started on the damn Delgado family, bro. I understand kids can't get eaten, the dad, people would mourn it, whatever. Even the sister, the boyfriend, bro, even the boyfriend was fine. Come on.
It's also possible if these events happened, some of the megs might have wound up tangling with other released apex predators. That decapitated Dunkleosteus was cut through suspiciously very cleanly.
I would not put my hand anywhere near that mouth,
having been
just
a
in
natural
case.
predator to whales, it would undoubtedly target them once again, possibly bringing it into conflict with the first generations of the released mosasaurs that were peculiarly friendly towards whales and might try to attack to defend their pod. And if this piece of conceptual art and graphics is taken as canon, the fate of this particular mosasaurus we see dead in this photograph may not have been the work of humans if this all played out.
Ooh.
Having a set of meg jaws so casually on display like a trophy doesn't make this seem like the greatest shark to ever live being in the oceans again was just a one-off event. And with the Megalodon being largely exempt from issues adjusting to the climate that the dinosaurs were, given the modern day temperatures are very similar to the Pliocene, they might well have had the whole ocean to roam. And should the greatest shark to ever roam the seas roam into the Caribbean near an island very few ever venture to, the tides might run red when two equally titanic forces of nature might come to blows as the final apexes of the Mesozoic and Cenozoic meet again.
Damn. Honestly, now it seems pretty freaking obvious there's Megalodons in the franchise. I don't know why they could just include it. Very informational video, once again, from Goji Center. I went in skeptical with disbelief in my heart, and they convinced me without a doubt that there's a lot more going on in the franchise that I don't realize because I don't pay. Someone was chewing during that scene in the movie. That's my excuse. But yeah, leave a like, subscribe for more, subscribe to Goji Center too, and I'll see you next time.